You know what, on a lighter note, I wanted to ask you, I've talked to a lot of the British fighters. Frankly, I think I need a translator. I think since you've come over to the States that your accent's not as thick. Some of the guys I talked to Taylor and Adam earlier, and I was like, what in the hell? Does that happen to you in the U.S.?
To be honest, it happens to me more in the UK than anything.
Does it really? Like, are there certain areas of where people are from in the United States where you're like, I can't understand you?
No, not really, to be honest. I mean, I watch a lot of American TV, so I'm pretty good with that. But yeah, if I'm chatting to Paul Kelly, I have to really pay attention.
How is it weird? I find it odd because it's not like the UK is that big.
No, we have got a real crazy diversity of accents. Paul Taylor lives maybe a 45-minute drive from where I live, and his accent's completely different to mine. It is crazy. And then as you go down south of England as well, it's got different accents again down there.
You spent a lot of time in the U.S. You spent a lot of time in Southern California. How much time did you spend in SoCal getting ready for this one?
Well, I had a couple of months. Well, I had 3 months after the Davis fight where I went back and I had a little time off, and then I got back to training, working on technical stuff. And then I started camp 4 weeks before I left. So I had a 4-week pre-camp in California, then came back to the UK for the last 8 weeks.
And who'd you work with in the U.S. before you left?
I was working with Eddie Bravo on my jiu-jitsu, and then I was training at a gym called PKG, which has got a couple of really good wrestling coaches there. Just kind of working on my overall game. Really, they've got a good boxing coach there as well. And my main focus was my ground game and my wrestling, but. I was training everything.
Now, I'm surprised by that. I figured you'd be training. I mean, I know your stand-up's pretty good, but Swick is more of a stand-up fighter. So how come you concentrated on stuff other than stand-up?
Because when I was doing my pre-camp, I was fighting Don Young Kim.
That's a good point. Yeah, that kind of changes things. So do you feel like you wasted your time in the early part of the camp? No,
not at all. Not at all. I'm already confident in my striking skills, and 8 weeks is more than enough to kind of adjust them for an opponent. My ground game, my jiu-jitsu always needs more work though, so that's what my main focus has been over the past couple of years. Now this time around, you didn't get a chance to work with Freddie Roach, right? No, I didn't. I mean, I could have done, but I decided against it purely because I wanted to really work on my wrestling and jiu-jitsu a little more, and also the problem with Freddie and Freddie training Manny Pacquiao for a fight that's on the same night as mine would have been, a bit of a conflict as well, because he was interested in staying with me for my whole camp. But unfortunately, that didn't come off this time, but I will be working with him again in the future. So you're saying you're ranked behind Pac-Man with Freddie Roach, huh? Yeah. He does take priority. I'm guessing he makes more money than me, though. So yeah, you think? What would be Freddie's cut of your salary versus Pac-Man's like 25 or 30 million, probably a little smaller, huh? It'd probably be a month's rent for him. Yeah, there you go. Not to look past the fight, but if you win this, do you feel like you're in line, you're the next guy for Georges St-Pierre, since there really is no one obvious to challenge him at 170 right now? I don't know. That is the rumor. I know it's been mentioned quite a few times and that, but whatever, I mean, as soon as the opportunity arises, I will be taking it. And, I feel like I've got plenty of tools in my game to cause him some problems. I know a lot of people are counting me out, and I do feel like I've got a lot to prove in this fight. Because, I've had 2 split decisions now, which I'm not happy with. And I know I've got a lot more to give, and I can perform a lot better. So, hopefully I'll prove enough in this fight for people to accept me as a number one contender. You didn't misunderstand what I said there, right? When I said there's no one obvious, I just mean there's no one who's clearly the guy next in line. Because I think one thing, if I was a 170 fighter, that would irk me is kind of this, the story that's been told the last 6 or 8 months that there's no one in the division for Georges St-Pierre to fight. No one can beat him. He needs to move up to 185. As a guy at 170, what do you think when people talk like that? Well, I think people are kind of holding him in too high esteem, really. I mean, he's a great athlete and he's a very good fighter and he gets the job done. But he's only human. He's got 2 arms and 2 legs, same as the rest of us. And anybody on any day can go in there and put a beating on him, just like Serra did. And I think there are a lot of guys in the division that would give him some problems. And I don't think it's fair to count everybody out and say that he should go up and fight at middleweight, because his weight class is 170. And I hope he stays there. Yeah. Because, I want to crack at him, and I'm sure most of the other guys in the division do. Well, to me, before you move out of a weight division, you should probably defend your title, 4, 5, 8 times and dominate. I can accept it with Anderson Silva because he's destroyed everyone at 185.
with GSP. The Sarah loss is not that long ago, and the more fighters I talk to at 170, and I broach the topic of GSP, a lot of them are saying that he's completely changed his game because he doesn't want to stand up anymore. He doesn't like getting hits, and now he's a wrestler primarily.
Yeah, I mean, he did seem a little timid against Thiago Alves. I was really hoping Alves was going to push him a little more than he did. But that's the thing when you come up against a guy who's a good wrestler. It does make you a little gun shy to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It certainly did for Alves, which I think was a shame because I think Alves had a lot of tools that could have caused him some trouble. But I'll learn from Alves' mistake, and I'm sure he will as well. And eventually someone will come up with a formula to put GSP down and take his belt off him. And obviously I'm hoping that guy's me.
All right, let's close on this. What kind of reaction are you getting to your video blogging the last couple of weeks?
I've been surprised how many people are watching them, actually.
Yeah.
I originally meant to do it a lot more regularly than that, but just it came about that I didn't have the ability to upload it as fast. So unfortunately there wasn't as many as I would have hoped. But now I've seen the impact, I'm actually going to carry it on through the rest of the time, even when I'm away from fight camp. I mean, fight camp does become a little repetitive and a little tedious, whereas when I'm away from fight camp and I'm doing a lot of traveling and stuff, I think there's a lot of good stuff that people would want to see, and want to know that what fighters do away from camp as well. So keep an eye out for them because I'm planning on doing a lot more.
So what's the impact? What do you mean that you've seen the impact?
I've been surprised at the amount of attention that they've been getting. I think people are very interested in what fighters do. As people, you know what I mean? They know that we get in the gym and they know that we hit pads and we spar and we wrestle, but I think they kind of want to look to our lifestyles and how our lifestyles are different to theirs, with us having the courage to follow what we want to do in life and fight professionally, I guess, you know what I mean? And, I think people are interested in knowing what goes on away from fight camp.
Well, you know what we want, because, I don't know, the shots in the UK kind of look dank and, I don't know, look depressing. I want some LA blogs.
I can do that. I will do that.
Get the girlfriend. We want, most of us want to see this girlfriend you've talked about for so long, because you said, you ripped on UK women in the past, so, we want to see this girlfriend of yours and also hanging out. Well, the other thing we want to see is hanging out with Bravo and Rogan, because I'm sure that'll make for some good blogs.
Yeah, that definitely would.
Heavily censored.
No doubt.
Off the record.
My girlfriend always the photographs of my girlfriend always get a lot more views on my website than any of mine. So
shocking, huh?
I'm starting to learn that. I'm starting to learn that she's quite appealing to look at to everybody else as well as me.
But it's not what's the guy's name? Alex Reed? Is that the one who's going out with the big-breasted, whatever her name is there?
Don't talk to me about that guy. That is really starting to annoy me now.
Why? Yeah, he's made a name for it. He's brilliant. Love that guy.
Yeah, but he's brilliant at what, though? You know what I mean?
At getting a big-breasted hot chick, because he can't fight. We know that.
Exactly that. He's lost his last 6 fights. That's all I'm going to say.